What is up, car addicts? In this video, I'm going to be discussing the top 10 fastest vehicles in GTA 5 Online in 2025 after the Money Fronts DLC in terms of top speed. Now, to clarify, HSW cars will be included in this list, which is currently only available on current-gen consoles, which is PS5 and Xbox Series X/S, and of course, PC Enhanced. And since PC is included in this, I felt it was fair to count the HSW cars in this list. Now, if you are on old gen, which is PS4 or Xbox One, I will be making a separate updated video where HSW vehicles are not included. Also to mention, aircraft will not be included in this list, and obviously top speeds vary based on road bumps, curbs, wheeling on certain motorcycles, etc. Now, these top speeds are chosen based on Bruffy 1322's accurate top speed testing in a controlled environment for every single fully upgraded vehicle, with distance and time calculated between each checkpoint. This is by far the best way to accurately compare these top speeds. I will leave a link to his channel down below if you haven't subscribed to him, and you really should subscribe to him. He is undoubtedly the king of car testing for GTA by far. Also, for those of you who don't know, the speedometers in first person are not accurate, as some cars say you're going 90 miles per hour and other cars will say you're going 200 miles per hour, while both cars are actually going the same speed. The only one that's relatively close is the digital speedometers if you want a closer reference, but in general, the first person speedometers are very inaccurate, so keep that in mind. But anyways, let's get into it. Starting off with number 10, we have the original Bravado Banshee with the HSW upgrade. So the base Banshee costs about $100,000, and then the HSW upgrade is a crazy $1.8 million, which totals over $1.9 million for a sports car, which is just insane. However, its performance is also insane, having a top speed of 152.75 miles per hour, which is crazy for an old OG sports car that you would never expect to be that fast, but that's the power of HSW. And that also makes it a top 5 sports car in terms of track performance as well. Moving on to number 9, we have the Benefactor Sterling GT with the HSW upgrade. So the base price of this car is just under $1 million, and the HSW upgrade is $900,000 on top. So this car will cost you just under $1.9 million, which seems expensive, but honestly, for a sports classics car with HSW, I think it's a pretty good deal. But anyways, the HSW Sterling GT not only has a very impressive top speed of 156.25 miles per hour, but it also has incredible handling considering it's a classic car, and an incredible exhaust note as well. Plus, it's one of the fastest cars in the class for track performance alongside the HSW Turismo Classic, making it a must-own in my opinion. Continuing to number 8, we have the Karin S95 with the HSW upgrade. So the base price is just under $2 million, and the HSW upgrade on top is $500,000. So that totals about $2.5 million for this car, which seems pretty crazy, but the top speed of this car is a very impressive 156.5 miles per hour, which is extremely quick for a pretty average looking sports car. I always find it pretty funny seeing a Toyota 86/Subaru BRZ being one of the top 10 fastest cars in the game. You would just never expect it. Next up, on to number 7, we have the Hakuchu Drag with the HSW upgrade. So the base price of this bike is just under $1 million, and the HSW upgrade is about $1.4 million on top. So you're in this bike for about $2.4 million, which seems like a lot, but this bike not only has a crazy top speed of 157.5 miles per hour, but it's also the best vehicle in the entire game for overall track performance. It basically takes off like a rocket powered vehicle. It's just insane the acceleration and top speed this thing has, plus the handling, which is above average compared to most bikes. Now, it's not the best in terms of handling like the Shotaro, for example, but it's not terrible either, having just a bit more understeer, but with that speed difference, it more than makes up for it everywhere else. Moving on to number 6, we have the Vigero ZX/ZX convertible with the HSW upgrade. And I have put these two into one since they basically have identical performance. So the base price of the coupe is just under $2 million, and then the HSW upgrade on top is $550,000. And then for the convertible, it's just under $2.3 million, and the HSW upgrade cost is the same at $550,000. So you're about $2.5 million in the coupe and about $2.8 million in the convertible. For a muscle car, that's pretty crazy. but it is the second fastest muscle car in the game with a top speed of 158 miles per hour, which is insanely impressive. Now, its handling isn't the greatest, but it is good enough to be the fastest car in the class for overall track performance. Continuing to number 5, we have the Niobe with the HSW upgrade. So the base price of this car is just under 1.9 million, and the HSW upgrade on top is 1.8 million. So this car will cost you just under $3.7 million, which is insane, but this is an insanely fast car overall. With a top speed of 159.5 miles per hour and insane acceleration in combination with incredible handling, this thing could literally compete right alongside the HSW weaponized Ignis in the supercar class. And again, remember, this thing is in the sports class. It completely dominates the sports class. It's just not even close. One of the best purchases in the game, in my opinion, by far. Next up, on to number 4, we have the Reaver. So this bike has an insane top speed of 163 miles per hour when holding a wheelie, and the craziest part is that this bike isn't even an HSW vehicle. So this essentially is the fastest vehicle for old gen consoles. The Reaver has a base price of 1.9 million, but honestly, under $2 million for the fastest vehicle on old gen isn't all that bad, all things considering. Now, I will mention that the Reaver does suffer a bit in terms of handling and acceleration, where it sits around the pace of some of the OG top bikes like the Badi 801 and the Akuma for track performance, so that's why I personally recommend the HSW Hakuchu Drag over this one because of its handling advantage. Moving on to number 3, we have the Tampa GT with the HSW upgrade. So the base price of this car is about 1.3 million, and the HSW upgrade on top is 1.4 million, so this car will cost you just under $2.8 million total. So this muscle car has a top speed of 166 miles per hour, which is just insane. And for those of you who don't know, the brakes of this car are absolutely terrible. You have to brake super far in advance. It's basically like if you're driving on snow, it's really bad. And then the handling is like a traditional muscle car, but more floaty. So you combine an insane amount of straight line speed with basically no brakes, and very muscle car traditional handling, but worse, and it makes this thing almost impossible not to crash when driving it. But that sort of like character that this car has, it makes it a ton of fun to drive and gives you that old school fast muscle car feel, which a lot of players in the community, including myself, really enjoy. It's a really likable car when you understand it. Continuing to number 2, we have the Grotti Stinger TT with the HSW upgrade. So the base price of this car is just under 2.4 million, and then the HSW upgrade on top is about 1.4 million. So this car will cost you a ridiculous $3.8 million plus upgrades, basically a $4 million sports car, which is absolutely insane. But it does have an insane top speed of 168.5 miles per hour, which is pretty crazy. And the handling of this car is pretty terrible, just average sports car handling. And with this speed, it just doesn't really work well. I don't really recommend it, to be honest. And lastly, before we move on to number 1, we have an honorable mention here, and that is the regular Gargoyle with the glitched rear wheel. So for those of you who don't know how this works, you need to fully upgrade the Gargoyle and then install one of the 11 large rear wheels, and that allows it to speed glitch while wheeling to reach an incredible top speed of 171.5 miles per hour, which makes it the second fastest vehicle in the entire game. But again, it utilizes a specific upgrade. And this bike only costs about $100,000, which is by far the best bang for the buck if you just want to go fast for cheap. And for those of you who don't know, the rat truck speed glitch, the pop tire speed glitch, basically all the speed glitches that involve holding your brakes were unfortunately patched a few years ago, so keep that in mind. But anyways, on to number 1, the fastest vehicle in the entire game for top speed. We have the Banshee GTS with the HSW upgrade. So the base price of this car just under $2 million, and the HSW upgrade on top is $1.9 million. So this car will cost you just under $3.9 million plus upgrades, so you'll be well over $4 million into this car with upgrades. I want to say about $4.5 million with everything, which is pretty crazy, but this is a crazy fast car. with a crazy top speed of 172.5 miles per hour, just ridiculous. And it's the third fastest car for track performance in the sports class with HSW, and honestly it's just a ton of fun to drive in general with fantastic customization and detail. For those of you who are thinking of buying it, just buy it, you won't regret it. This is a very good purchase and a very well made car from Rockstar overall. But anyways guys, there you have it. Those are the top 10 fastest vehicles in terms of top speed in GTA 5 Online for 2025 after the Money Fronts DLC. Definitely let me know down below in the comments what other top 10 videos you guys would like to see on the channel. Thanks again for watching guys, hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.